You know what the biggest lie we tell ourselves is? It's saying, I'll do it tomorrow. We think that there'll be, some sort of perfect moment, or at least better conditions. But the truth is that waiting actually kills more dreams than failure ever will. 9 in 10 people who set goals never actually end up sticking to them. So only 10% actually follow through. And you want to know what the most common reason is? It's that they're waiting for the right conditions. Maybe at a better job, maybe more money, maybe better confidence. But the people who do make it, the people that do make a start, they don't feel ready either. They just get going and see what happens. I want to share something with you that's going to potentially shift the way you see things when it comes to making a start. But before I tell you, I'm going to need you to picture something. Imagine you took one small step today towards something you've been putting off for months, maybe even years. Don't imagine the whole thing. Don't think about some grand gesture. You just took one small step. Now, here's probably what you're thinking. It feels a little awkward. You're unprepared, maybe even embarrassed, depending on what it is that you're doing. And you're probably expecting to fail. Just not get it not working, and just feeling like you're wasting your time. But what if that first step that you took isn't about actually, completing said task, finishing that piece of art, creating your new product, doing more overtime so you can buy yourself something? It's not about the end goal. It's just about triggering something that most people never actually tap into. I feel like over time in our life, we've kind of been conditioned to only do things when there's like a 100% chance guarantee that it will work. But what if I said that certainty is a myth? Because the truth is, every single person makes thousands of choices every single day, big and small. Obviously, there's a lot more smaller ones. However, almost all of them are based on incomplete information. Let me explain. Because you're going to pick foods without knowing how they're going to make you feel after. You just trust the label, or you trust the person that sold it you for it to be okay. You choose a route to work in the morning without knowing if there's going to be traffic, roadworks, an accident. You just go, don't you? But when it comes to your dreams, all of a sudden you have to make sure you tick off every box and think of every single scenario, and you have to have a backup plan for a backup plan, and then you still doubt yourself because you're not certain enough. And that is exactly why people tend to get stuck. They don't give themselves a chance to create the momentum required to move forward. Remember when we mentioned the first step in the video about just taking that first step, the whole creation of momentum? Well, psychologists actually refer to it as something as a progress loop. It's like a feedback cycle where even like the smallest wins trigger dopamine, which makes you just want to chase more and more wins. But there's a bit of a catch to it, and I think that's the reason why people never really feel the full effect of the progress loop. Because you can't just try absolutely anything and expect some sort of result. Because if you try something that's completely unobtainable or in a completely wrong way, you're going to end up just rewiring your brain back into thinking, well, I can't do this. And if that belief locks in, well, it's game over for practically everyone. Not many people are actually able to pick themselves up after that and just try again. So right now is the best moment to just pause and think about the moment or the thing that you've been putting off the most. So I just want you to keep that in your mind, because I want to tell you a way that practically forces progress, even if you mess up along the way. And it's actually surprisingly simple. But before I go any further, I want to completely debunk, this myth of people saying, I have no time. Because the reality is, according to the Office of National Statistics, the average person actually spends just under 4 hours a day on their mobile phone. That's an equivalent of 2 whole months throughout the year. It's actually quite a lot when you think about it. So if you've got 4 hours to spare, or 3, or 2 for that matter, if you've got those hours to spare, you've definitely got spare time to take this next small step. Here's how you frame things to make actual, real progress. Don't commit to the goal, commit to the process. Instead of saying, I'm going to lose weight, say that you're going to walk for 5K every single day, or 30 minutes every single day. Instead of saying, I'm going to eat healthy, say they're going to have one apple every single day. The idea is that you completely take away the pressure of the success of the end goal, and you just give yourself simple daily tasks you can do and repeat every single day. Because now you're focusing on something you can control, something you are actively choosing to do. And that is exactly how you build momentum. Because in theory, momentum is just the confidence you've actually been waiting for to make this original start. Once you've taken that first step, the right step, you're going to be locked into this progress loop. And then every time you have a small win, that little bit of dopamine is going to hit you, and you're going to want to go again and again. And by the time you know it, you're going to reach your goals by following the process and not trying to reach the goal, if that makes sense. Because no matter what we do, the beginning is always the most difficult. Once you get past that, I want to say smooth sailing. It's not quite, but it is much easier to keep going rather than to make an actual start in anything that we do. And because we always sit there thinking, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, why don't you start thinking, well, what if it does work? Why are you so scared about thinking about the fact that it could work and it could actually be good for you? Stop thinking about the failure so much. Just enjoy yourself. And if it does fail, well then so what? Just try again and see what happens. And as always, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.